After the assault and the threats, a lot more happened that was really intense and scary. It became very serious. It's not just two parents abusing my friend, it's the whole situation he was in. These churches and groups are wealthy, and there's just a lot more to it there's a whole paper trail financially that I just don't feel comfortable exposing here. Even though I don't have any of my real information here, I'm just not going to do it. But the courts, the police, and the adult protective services have all of it. So by late February, I decided that it was too late for a surprise visit by APS, and I decided I was going to call the police. And I went to work that day with the intent of waiting for the abusers to leave and then calling the police from the house. And then when I got there, the mother said that she had information for me, and she showed me the identity rebuilding packet for the conversion therapy that they were going to put him back into that summer. Like next month, they were planning on doing this. And there was just a lot of other stuff that made me feel like we needed help immediately. Like my friend needed help. So she left, and I said to my friend, I'm going to the police right now. I'm just going to the police. That's it. That's just all there is to it. I said, you can stay here and I can call another caregiver, or you can come with me and you can help report. I'll bring your AAC device. And he wanted to come with me. Mind you, this is a fully independent 43-year-old adult who's not cognitively disabled and didn't have guardians. I didn't know at the time whether they were his guardians or not, because they said that they were, but there was no guardianship paperwork anywhere. And I was questioning even then where the guardianship documents were. And he, I don't remember if he told me or not. It was just very hard to get information while I was there because of the recording, like being audio monitored by them. It was like a baby monitor. They used a Alexa Echo device where you can use the drop-in feature, and they could just turn it on and listen to us. So it was very, very difficult to get specific details all the time. So I said, okay, I'm going to the police. And so he wanted to go with. So we got in my vehicle and left the house. And by the way, like, that's perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with him riding there's nothing wrong with him riding my vehicle at all. And I called 911. So as you can see, I called 911. And then I called the Tacoma Police Department. I called the Puyallup Police Department. I drove to a police station. I drove around. I was on the phone with the 911 telling them, like, we need protection. We need help. I'm really scared. I don't want to go back to the house. If someone could just meet us somewhere, because it was a Saturday. And they were like, well, if you want to meet an officer, you've got to wait for them to call you back, and it could be up to 24 hours. And I was like, fuck, we already left the house. Like, who knows what the fuck could happen. So my friend said he wanted to wait for the police before going back to the house. I said, yeah, me too. I think that's a good idea. So since I already had the camper I was driving around in, and he has pretty high physical needs. Like, he has to have a special device to use the toilet and stuff like that. I went and got my camper, and we drove to a fire station. When we got to the fire station, this is the phone records from calling the fire station, my friend, it was our mutual friend who worked there. They were out on a call, so we ended up just parking in like a 24-hour parking lot nearby. The police never called me back. There's no calls on my phone records. My phone didn't ring. That evening, as we were parked, his parents found out what we were doing, and I texted them, and I said, I'm reporting everything. That's just the way it is. I'm reporting everything. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I tried. I know that you're his mom, so I tried. But, like, he has a life, and this isn't okay. And she agreed. She said, yeah, you should go to a fire station. So, and I can't show you the text messages because later on they had my devices taken from me. And the only the copies of text messages I have now are from the discovery that comes later. And I can't share that because it's under a protection order. But I told them I was reporting everything, and they hung up and called the police and said that I kidnapped my friend. They told the police that they were his legal guardians, that he was in a vegetative state, that he couldn't even comprehend his name or where he was, that he can't communicate, that he doesn't know any type of language, and that I kidnapped him and wanted to take him off to go live with him for my own devious purposes. And the police didn't even look into his background. They didn't require any evidence. They didn't do anything. They pinged my phone, found us. I thought they were responding to my call, but they weren't. They didn't even know that I called. The police that showed up didn't even know that I had called. They thought that I had abducted my friend. And they showed up and said they were doing a welfare check. And they said, since he can't communicate at all, we got to send him back. And I said, he can't communicate. Here's his AAC device. He speaks ASL. Watch. And I talked to him and they said, no, we can't verify that he's actually talking, that that's actual sign language or whatever. And they had me transfer him onto a stretcher and they took him to a hospital and sent him back with his abusers. And I haven't seen him since. But it gets worse.